Hey folks, it's the day of Game 1 of the World Series here in Toronto. So thought I'd make a little bit of a video here, just going through some of my stuff, Toronto related, Jays related. I'm a Yankees fan, grew up in Toronto. Reason why is for those who've watched it, they'll know, but I'll mention it at the end. But at number one, obviously, want to obviously congratulate the Jays in making the World Series. Um, these guys have changed my mind on this team, but also, you know, uh, frankly, I do think you're playing above your skis, but that's fine. That's the formula of a hot team. We got some luck, etc. Um, and then also, I want to talk about. I know the Dodgers are good. I know they're a stacked team, frankly, but I watch a lot of baseball. I not only watch Yankee games, I not only watch Blue Jay games. I watch Dodger games. I watch many other teams. So, before everyone comes to the conclusion that this is going to be a slaughter, which I would have thought, just hear me out. But, anyways, just want to go through some of the cards that I had. But anyways, first off, I want to say that I've been watching baseball since I was a kid, and one of the things I actually got here when I was a kid was I was fortunate enough to meet Jesse Barfield, a great Blue Jay. He also played for the Yanks, but I was great Blue Jay in the '80s. Um, and I got to meet him. He's a super nice guy, super friendly. Years later as well, he was actually doing a show here in the West End of Toronto. And actually, I remember he's kind enough to sign a bat for me. I even told him I still have the baseball when I was a kid you got for me. And he was super nice to me. Sorry, I know this one's dirty. But yeah, it was, you know, so great. It was great memories. Another one was George Bell. I know he had a bad reputation with the media, but I remember one time at the Dome when I was a kid, I was waiting for him, and there was nobody there, and it was just me. And he came out, and I remember I was kind of scared because he's a big guy, and again I was a little kid, and I remember he looked, and I just looked at him and I said, could you please sign my autograph? And then he looked around and he looked down because he was that tall, and I was very tiny, and he looked at me, and then he nice he took my card, he signed it for me, gave it back to me, and he left. It was super nice. So George Bell is actually my favorite Blue Jay of all time. Even though I know stats wise, some people are talking about this guy Vlad, and he's good with the fans too. Granted, I still think he milked the organization, but he's having a great playoff. If he can pull this off, you know, awesome, right? So, um, you know, Vlad, like I said, I take it back with the 500 million. Granted, we're still very early in it. We haven't even kicked into it, but you know, um, Joe and Joe. But in terms of the Jays, I've been watching since I was a kid. My favorite pitcher, Jimmy Key. With all due respect to Roy Halladay, but Jimmy Key was my favorite. Um, I remember that was 92, 93 World Series teams. Back then, I wasn't old enough. Well, we didn't have the money as well to be able to go to the games, so we watched it on TV like everyone else. But it was great memories. That 92, 93 squad, Todd Stottlemyre, Pat Hankin. So, I mean, back then too, the team was owned by Labatt's, which is a brewer, a Canadian brewer, and they put a lot of money in. So, granted, this Rogers has put a lot of money in. Dave Winfield, awesome, Yankee as well, but great. I remember he was such an important piece. Paul Molitor as well, what a super player. But those teams were great. This whole city. I remember when we won. I remember '93 especially. We actually were one of those crazy people. My brother-in-law and a few friends of mine. We jumped into the car, and we actually went on Young Street. We took it out there, and we were celebrating. It was crazy. Dave Steve, great, great, great Blue Jays pitcher. History underrates him, but he's such a great Blue Jays pitcher. Dave Stewart, Oakland A's. Everyone remembers him, but he was part of that Jays. And Mr. Coney, part of the Yankees crew, the announcers, but yeah, he was an important part of the Jays as well. He was like an assassin back in the day. Um, but yeah, in terms of the Jays over the years, you had a lot of great players. So I used to watch them. Again, Yankees fans first, but I cheer for the Jays, right? Because you had a lot of dark years in Yankee land as well. Um, but Pat Borders, great catcher, right-handed. Um, Ernie Witt was Ernie. Did I have that Ernie? I have an Ernie rookie, but Ernie Witt was the other one, left-hander. Ernie was like the elder statesman. He had key hits, but Pat Borders was one of those key guys. Jack Morris, World Series. I remember that when he came from Minnesota, but he was such a monster. This guy. And the Shaker, Lloyd Mosby. But anyways, in terms of we watched a lot of Blue Jay games, and you can go on my channel, doing a search, type Blue Jays, Freddie McGriff, the Crime Dog, Hall of Famer. There's George, and there's 82 Tops as well. But you'll see a lot, and quite frankly, Vlad, the great Ricky Henderson, rest in peace. I think one of the great players of all time. He was part of that Blue Jays championship run as well. He killed us when he was on Oakland. Yeah. And also, I don't have here Roberto Alomar as well, with all due respect. But in terms of this Blue Jays team, you watch some of those videos. And the reason why I was skeptical previously was that I watched a lot of Blue Jays, okay, including that 2023 team. Vlad, you hit a lot of balls in the ground. There were times where he just wasn't doing well, right? In terms of the team, that was a pitching team first. No one could hit, frankly, right? Bo was not looking like he wanted to play. Chappie was not happy with the team. You could tell. But we went to a lot of games, right? So, and unfortunately, on that Minnesota series, we didn't do so well, right? Next year was pretty much a disaster. Again, Vlad didn't perform. The team didn't perform, right? It was not good. This year, the first half, they weren't doing that great because we went to a lot of games. The second half, they picked it up. Vlad still doesn't have those regular season numbers that we'd want him to for 500 million. This playoff, they really surprised me. Obviously, they beat my Yankees. I tipped their hat to that. Judge is still great, okay, but the rest of the teams, we need to improve it. But the Jays played well. Vlad is having a phenomenal postseason. Barger was finally waking up as well in terms of postseason. He had a great regular season. I really like Barger. I remember last year in terms of we were at the game, we got his first hit, and I remember thinking, man, this guy can really hit. He's a big kid too. Just the team. I mean, I guess the intangibles that have really surprised me this postseason is the guys like Ernie Clement, Jimenez, Varsho even. Varsho's been hot and cold, but he was cold. Now he's hot again, right? But those are those guys that are intangible guys. Springer obviously. Lucas as well. Nathan Lucas has really been so productive. Like again, I seen these guys come up, and quite frankly, when I seen them suck for most of the time, right? So it really shocked me this postseason when they really started to perform, right? And it's I'm shocked that they made it to the series. But again, well deserved. And I'm someone who doubted them, so I take it back, or I apologize if I didn't. I never remember mean to insult anybody, frankly. But they were. I've seen them a lot of times, and frankly, we put a lot of money into the Blue Jays as well. So, from a financial perspective, we are a big supporter, more than any other team in baseball, right? So that's another thing. Oh, Trey Savage is phenomenal, by the way. But this team as well, right? The pitching's always been solid. I know. I know the bullpen was a problem, and then it wasn't. But now, when you put in Bassett and you put in other people, it becomes a very much a viable bullpen. In this series, so I will say this: that right now the Blue Jays are playing above their skis. They are playing well above what I think they would do over an average period. Okay, and now I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe the ball is probably most likely juiced because everyone's hitting, but all you have to do is hit contact, right? I've seen so many partial swings, balls going through the field, or home runs, which without even complete swings. Whatever. I'm not arguing with it. It is what it is in sports nowadays. We've got 150-point games in the NBA. Um, you know, it's gonna all the records are gonna come down. Offense obviously is gonna be what the leagues are pushing. But anyways, the Jays could actually beat the Dodgers here, and the reason why is this. So number one, their contact is phenomenal, right? Um, they could shake up the Dodgers pitching. I know the Brewers are a great team. Um, However, I don't know. They couldn't make contact, right? Versus the Jays, I thought the Mariners had a superior pitching staff, and it's just putting that bat on the ball. So they can do that with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are feeling great. The pitchers, I've watched the starters. Granted, they were injured all year, and now they're coming around. But if they can be very shaken up very easily. Um, Yoshi can definitely be shaken up. Um, a bunch of them. I mean, they've been strong, but they definitely can't get shaken up by this Jays team. And I think when that goes, their bullpen is not as good. Sasaki, he looks good, but again, I think he can be shaken. All right, I seen him in the early part of the year as well. Stunk the joint out. So there is that average in the end. So I think the Jays can do it. In terms of the offense, yeah, sure. Shohei, Freddie Freeman, he's got Toronto connections. Mookie Betts, all of those guys. Teoscar as well. Welcome back. They're great players, but here's the thing: they have not been consistently hitting. I'd argue the Blue Jays hitters in the playoffs have been more consistent throughout than the Dodgers. Shohei, aside from that one game he had, where I don't know what they did to the ball. Maybe it's they triple tied the lace, whatever. But anyways, besides that game, he was not having a great playoff, right? So I mean, unless MLB is going to do the same thing and triple tie the lace on the balls and whatever, I hope the Jays check them, or switch the batch. But I think they can actually the Dodgers offense is inconsistent relative to the Blue Jays, right? So the pitching could frustrate them, right? And in terms of the Dodgers pitching, you know, if the Jays can make that type of contact, they can do it in a short series. They can win, right? So that's the thing. So again, and then in terms of the Blue Jays, I actually do want to thank them because, again, someone growing up in Toronto, I saw 92, 93, couldn't go to it, too young. I'm actually going to game two. Um, I'm fortunate, and it's just something I want to do. And, I will be bringing this phone with me. So I will be getting you folks some stuff as well. I know ticket prices are ridiculous. I mean, but I do want to thank the Blue Jays for giving me this opportunity. This is something that I always wanted to do, see the series live. So I'm going to be able to do that. Hopefully, hopefully witness a win and have a great game. But also the second thing is as a Yankees fan, and for the folks who've been watching my channel, you'll know I want him to do it because of Donnie Baseball, the great Don Mattingly. It's his first series going. Unfortunately, he just missed it on the Yankees dynasty, but that's okay because I know he wanted to spend time with his kids. But this is the first time he gets to go to the World Series. Let's win it for him, okay? And let's get him in the Hall of Fame, folks. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame with all due respect to all those other guys in the 80s and 90s. Donnie Baseball was the other popular number 23. And not just the guy in Chicago in the other sport, okay? But Donnie Baseball, he was the man in baseball, okay? So, Jays, let's do it for Donnie, okay? Let's do it for Donnie. Let's get that motivation. You can beat these guys, okay? Don't worry about what the other media says. You can beat these guys. I am a unbiased Yankees fan, okay? And I like the Jays too, okay? I mean, you could say I'm a Jays fan too, but, you know. Point being is, I look at it from a unbiased perspective. You can beat the Dodgers. I've watched a lot of Dodgers games. They are beatable. They can go cold. You know, those guys swing for the fences all the time, right? All the time. But get this done. You can do it. Go Jays. I don't know if you folks put comments. Go Jays. Let me know what your favorite Jay is. You know, and anyways, folks, I'll have more content coming from the Dome or Rogers Center. Sorry. I'm going game 2. So, anyways, I'll see you then. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's game. No matter what, who wins, who loses, enjoy it. Be respectful, folks, to both sides as well, please. You know, for Dodger fans too. Jays fans, let's be respectful to them as well. Either way, okay, folks? Anyways, go Jays. Let's get it done. Let's get it done for Donnie, all right? Go Jays. Thanks for watching, folks.